Good morning, my quilting friends. This is Rosie the Quilter, and I'm doing a short video today on how to machine bind your quilts. So today I'm going to show you in real close detail how you do that. First, for my binding tape, I used the Wrights tape, which is the extra wide double fold. So you see here, it's like 2.5 inches that they've already folded over once and folded over again. So you're going to get a nice binding from that. So now what I do is I use these little red clips to put my tape in order right on the edge. So you see here. And that runs down the side that I'm going to be working on. Just going to do a little bit here. Okay. And then I always make sure I have a strong needle, either a 16 needle or top stitch needle that will be able to go through all the layers that you're going to be using. Okay. And there I go. And it goes through all the layers. Make sure you do go in a little bit so that you make sure that it catches through on the other side. I'm going a little extra slow here for you. But make sure you always go in a nice speed that you can control. One thing I like about these clips is that they are strong, and you are definitely not going to be sewing over your clips like you would if you were using pins. So when you come to the edge here, I go right off. I just do a stitch back, and then I pull it out, and I cut. Make sure that I cut all the edge, see? And then I go to make the corner. Now in doing the corner, you want to try and make it like a miter. So I use my thumb to hold it while I press on both edges. And then I come out like this. Put the clip to hold that, and then I go ahead and I start to pin the other sides. Now, one thing I learned to do, I'm going to show you, otherwise it's all the same, is when I'm ready to start the next one, I remove the back clip and bring this over. And then I go ahead, I start, do about 3 stitches, then I reverse. So I catch the flap. And then I go forward again. That way I make sure that my edge is caught and that it's not going to come loose. And really, you just go right around the whole edge like that. And it's a pretty easy procedure. If you have any questions, just give me a call. When you're finished, I'm going to show you, I'm going to stop the tape now, do the rest of it, and then I'll show you how I go ahead and do that part of the binding. Okay, I've come to the end now. As you can see, I have just this little part here left to do. So let me figure that for you. When you get to this point, I would take out this last little clip. And as you did before, oops, get that out of the way. As you did before, use your thumb to make that miter edge. See how it looks there? And then just flip it back over so that it looks like this. Okay, and then use a clip to hold it. But now you have to try and get these two together. Now there are a number of ways that you could do it. First thing you have to do is get rid of the excess. Usually I go to where this begins and I cut that part off. Now, there are a couple of things that are available called the Binding Buddy that also helps you figure out how to measure these so that when you sew it together, it becomes one piece. You could also do it the way I used to do it, and that is to actually put it inside of the outer one like this, and then sew it down. Right? Doing it that way does leave a little edge here, but if you don't mind that, that's the easiest way to do it. I do mind that, so what I do is I have done my own version of the Binding Buddy. I just do it by guess. And what I do is I take this part, leave it like this. I take this one and I twist it so that you see this open part here. You make it a kind of little crossover. And you do it so that you have a lot of extra fabric left over so that when they're sewn together, it will be tight. And then I take one of my little clips to hold one end and a clip to hold the other. Right? Just like that. Actually, I think I could make this just a little tighter. Because you know what? Until you cut the things off, you and your seam ripper can make these things work together much nicer. So there you have it. Now, the only thing I do differently is that I set this for center and I bring the stitch down really, really low. And I set it down, right, so that your stitch line will come to the center. You see where that center is? Where these two meet up? Your stitch line will come right down there. The reason why I took off that clip is so that the little sewing thing there wouldn't hit it. So now I take it out. I cut the line here. And then I look to see how this fits. And as you can see here, once I cut off the rest of it, whoops, daisy, I'll have a nice join. See? So I'll go ahead, cut off these pieces here. Just like that. And put that right back on here. Just like that. I usually use one of the clips to hold it. So it's just like that. Reset my things to that. And then just as I did before, Go ahead. Whoops. Go ahead. Remove this back clip and go place it back further. Go a couple stitches. Then reverse back over the little flap. Go ahead. And there I am. Maybe just take a couple back stitches. But it is done. And that's how you do a machine binding. Now, once I clean up all the threads, you would never be able to tell where I started and where I ended, because this is now one piece. And I find it so much easier to use this than the hand sewing, especially since I do more of these small quilts for my Etsy business. I really couldn't do the hand sewing like I used to do when I first started doing quilting 20 years ago. But if you have questions about how to do machine binding, please put your questions in the comments after I post this, and I will be very happy to answer your questions in a Facebook Live, so that you can actually hear my answer, not just watch me type. But for now, I'll wish you happy sewing, my quilting friends, and I will see you later. Bye-bye for now.